Hey guys, in one of my last videos I was asked in the comments if I can explain how to get better gear and better items. How do you get better long necks than the long neck that you can do in your crafting menu? And that is a topic that was always so obvious to me that I never thought about making a video about it. So thank you for that comment. And if you like tutorials like this one, then leave a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done this before and become part of our community. But now, how to improve your gear. If you're leveling up in the game, then you will unlock the access to your engrams with your engram points, and those engrams you can craft in your crafting stations. But those are the standard engrams. Those are very nice for the beginning and they're very helpful, but once you're further into the game you want to have improved versions of these items. And in order to get those improved versions, you either find those items in drops, for example, or you find blueprints, and those give you the ability to craft that improved items no matter how often you want. But once you have those blueprints, you can even improve those items further, and I'm going to show you how that works. This, for example, is a long neck that you can just unlock by reaching the right level and having enough engram points. This is the standard variant. It has 100% weapon damage and 70 durability. And this is a blueprint with a quality tier journeyman. There are different quality tiers. White or grey is primitive, then green is ramshackle, blue is apprentice, purple is journeyman, yellow is mastercraft, and ascendant is scion. The weapon damage and also the durability of all tiers is within a specific range. But what's very interesting is that the range is overlapping on the ends. So while a blueprint can be a lower tier, it can on the same hand have a higher weapon damage and also a higher durability. So it's always worth looking on the stats instead of the quality. Because another thing that is directly connected to the quality is the resource cost. So you can have a weapon with a higher damage that costs way less resources. But how about we compare those two blueprints with each other? You can see that the blue one, which is the lower one, if we go after the quality, has a durability that is twice as high and almost the same weapon damage. But it only costs a little more than 50% of the higher tier one. This makes the blue blueprint way more attractive than the purple one. Now you could take this blueprint, put it into your smithy, craft something and call it a day. But we want to have more, we want to get better items. So let's talk about crafting skill and how the crafting skill improves your crafted items. Crafting skill is a stat that you can level on your character. It does not only higher the crafting speed in your inventory, but it also improves the quality of the items that you're crafting with blueprints. But how does this work? For every level point you put into crafting skill, you get 10% more crafting skill on top. For every 10% you get a maximum bonus for crafting by 0.5%. But this maximum is not guaranteed. It's more like a little bit of gambling to get a good roll. But let's look at an example. My char is level 105 and put all 104 level points into crafting skill, and that's why he has a crafting skill of 1140%. And since you get 0.5% extra per every 10%, you have to divide your crafting skill by 20, and then we get 57. 57% is the maximum that we can get with one craft on top of the stats we have. But it's important to understand that those 57% are not taken from the overall stats of the item, but from the difference between the overall stats and the base stats of the item. I will show you that on this example. With this long neck you would take the 155.2 and take minus 100 because that's the base weapon damage, and then you have 55.2. And if the game calculates the bonus, it will take the 57% from those 55.2, and that is 31.4. So if you would get a weapon from this blueprint with a maximum damage, then you would have to calculate 155.2 plus 31.4, and then you would get 186.7% weapon damage. That calculation does not only work with weapon damage, but with other stats a blueprint can have. But that also means the better your blueprint is, the more likely you should use a crafter character, and that's a char that has all its points in crafting skill, and you should use that one for crafting, because if you already use a big amount of resources in order to make an item, then you want to have the best possible item. But it is important to mention, even if you have a completely leveled up crafter character, you can still also get 0% bonus on your craft, because the bonus is not guaranteed. But since that is like the worst outcome and you cannot get an item that is below your quality of the blueprint, having a character for making items is always worth it. On this picture you see 2 blueprints, and I made 20 crafts with 1140 crafting skill with both of them. The Ascendant blueprint has a weapon damage of 328.2, and the highest long neck we got was 442.2 weapon damage, and that's a bonus of 50%, so it's very close to maximum. The Journeyman blueprint of the long neck has 222%, and here we got the best long neck with the weapon damage of 285.3%, and that's a bonus of 51.9. Crafting skill can not only be used for blueprints, but it's also used for making your own recipes. Because the crafting skill will improve the recipe quality positively, so you will have more food and more water value on your recipes and then on your food. I will make a video to the topic recipes in the future, but just see this as a little hint if you're making recipes now to use a crafter. But what about focal chili? I know it's a rumor that you can use focal chili in order to improve the quality of your blueprints even further, but unfortunately that's not the case. But you can use focal chili to improve the quality of your recipes, because focal chili will affect the recipe quality, but it will not affect the blueprint quality. But if you make recipes, be sure you have the buff active. We previously talked about how the crafting skill can improve the weapon damage, but we did not talk about armor blueprints. Armor blueprints do not have weapon damage, but they have armor. Even in this case, it's the same. The armor will be positively affected by the crafting skill. And how that looks I can show you here with a flak chest blueprint and with the crafted items out of that chest blueprint. But of course, for balancing reasons, there are some restrictions to this system. And the restrictions are that weapons, armor and saddles have an upper cap on how much they can actually improve. On official servers, that cap is of course lower than in the vanilla game. Weapons on official servers can, for example, only have a weapon damage of 249, and saddles can only have an armor value of 124%. On unofficial servers there are different caps, and those are way higher. Weapons on unofficial servers, for example, have a weapon damage cap of 755%. But there are other restrictions considering tech blueprints. Tech blueprints and also fishing rods are limited to 3 single crafts, and then the blueprint will disappear. If you're crafting tech gear or if you're crafting a fishing rod, then you have to use a crafter character. But how to get a crafter character? You can either make a second char and then just level this one in crafting skill, or you use the Mind Wipe tonic to reset your points and give yourself all the points into crafting skill, so you have a temporary crafter character. If you then use the Mind Wipe tonic again, then you can go back to your normal leveling. Since the Mind Wipe tonic also resets all your engrams, make sure to not make a crafter only for one item, but just to stack up a few items you want to craft anyway, so it's worth it. And now I hope you learned a little bit more about blueprints and crafting skill and how they both affect each other. And if you have more tips and questions about blueprints and how to use them, and maybe even where to find the best blueprints, then just go into the comments and let me know and let the people watching this video know. Otherwise, thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one, bye!